in our minds that there's a number, some magical number, that it's okay to charge customers. And anything beyond that is immoral. It's ethically wrong to charge more than that. And we believe this. Like someone has written it in the plumbing and electrical and HVAC Bible. Thou shalt not charge more than $90 an hour. Doesn't exist. It's in our heads. We believe this somehow. Starting with somebody way back when that said our customers will never pay that. And we all just took the bait. Did you know that if we went back to 1980, before we had the big crash in 1981, is anyone around? Is anyone aware of that? Yeah, you're here for that, right? The big crash in 1981. Interest rates skyrocketed. People had to throw their keys at their houses and walk away. There's no way you could make your mortgage payment. Your $500 a month mortgage payment at a 23% interest rate jumped to $2,500. Like just astronomical. Like that was it. You're done. At the same time, your wages dropped in half. Good luck. Let me know how it goes. So that happened. Before that happened, the average journeyman in our industry was making $20 to $25 an hour. In 1980, if all we had done was kept up with inflation, now listen to this, if all we had done was kept up with inflation, those companies back then were charging $60 and $70 an hour, even at 50. If all we had done was just kept up with inflation, that means dropping the price when the inflation hit, and when everything went bottomed out, and that means slowly raising it as things got better. If we had just kept up with the rest of the world, there wouldn't be a single company, there's not a single plumbing, heating, air conditioning, electrical company on this planet that wouldn't be charging at least $300 an hour. That's what that takes to buy the same basket of goods we did then. We need $300 an hour now. So who told us we couldn't do it? Who told us we don't deserve it? And where's our wages now? And what's the biggest problem in our industry? Can't find good people. Yes? Can't find good people. Where are the people? All the guys that are super skilled and have skills to pass on to somebody else, they're aging out, aren't they?
They're here already.
They're here, right? And then where are they going? Once they're gone, what do we have to replace them with? It's harder and harder to get guys to come out of high school and say, I want a job in the trades. And if I was them, I would feel the same way. I can go get a 2-year diploma at a tech school and get a job as a draftsman and make more money. And still have my knees when I'm 50. Nobody wants to join our industry. Oh, the world is bad. No, we did it to ourselves. It's the guys on the front line in front of the customers who are unwilling to charge what we're worth. We're to blame for that. Because we're the ones who are subscribing to it. And it doesn't start with somebody else. I want you to get this. I want you to get it. It doesn't start with, well, if only then, if our competition charged more, then it's garbage. All of it's terrible excuses for you to stay living in the space that you're living in. I started my little company in my tiny little hometown of 100,000 people. In that hometown of 100,000 people, there are 45 HVAC companies. I started a plumbing and HVAC company. I'm not kidding, there's 45 of them. The top 4 have a combined marketplace presence of 175 years. If you take the top 4 companies, they've been around a long, stinking time. The most expensive in that top 4 was $89 an hour. I started my company up, and I immediately set my price at $350. Day one. Went out the door with my price book, built on $350 an hour. The only one in my marketplace of 100,000 people with 175 years worth of marketplace presence from the top 4. Do you get how tough that is? These guys all know each other. Everybody knows everybody in this tiny little town. I know everybody in this tiny little town. And that's barely an exaggeration. And we showed up charging way more than anyone else. And in 5 years, was running my company. I was now number 5. Leapfrog the bottom 40. I was number 5. Those top 4 still had more marketplace presence than I had. I now had more reviews than all top 4 companies combined. Charging triple their price. Not a word of a lie. Made a 19% net profit in my last 2 years running. Sold it. Happy to be out there. Happy to be doing this. Because this is where I have my time. This is where I have my focus. This is where I can take the message that I know is true and offer for you to consider. How have you been shooting yourself in the foot? How have you been shooting our industry in the foot with our beliefs about price that just don't have any grounding in reality? I can tell you about a $3 million company in an 1,800 person town. A $3 million company in an 1,800 person town, exclusively serving farmers. The owner of that company is also a deacon in the church. And he charges $3.80 now. Everybody knows everybody. I mean, oh, but it's hard, you don't know our customers. It's garbage. It's garbage. Stop making excuses. The problem isn't out there. It's never going to be out there. The problem is here. See, an amazing thing happens when technicians go to this training event, and I've had so many tell me this. Before I went, we got dispatchers in on this, by the way. Because before you go, dispatcher always gives you the bad calls. Every time. It's like they hate it. And then you come back from the training, and suddenly dispatch just gives you all customers who are willing to pay. It's an amazing thing that happens. Or maybe it's not dispatch. Maybe it has something to do with me. Maybe it has something to do with my belief. And where does it all start? Yeah. Am I worth it? See, because our resistance to it comes from a place of identity. I want you to get this. It's not, we make logical reasons for it. Oh, they don't like, they don't want it, because our marketplace won't bear it. They're old people, don't you get it? They have limited incomes. They have, no, garbage. All of it's garbage. I'm just tossing it all out because none of it exists. You have the same opportunity everyone else has. Some people are killing it, some people are not killing it. In this company today, true or false?
True.
Stop making excuses for yourself. This all exists between your ears. This whole problem. And it comes down to your identity. I want you to get this. I'm not worth it is the foundational belief that we layer all of these logical reasons on top of. But if we boiled it all down, we stripped it all away, so take away the customers are not your problem. The price is not your problem. What's the problem? Why don't I believe in it? Because at some core level, I don't think that it's worth a plumber being at a customer's house for $300 an hour. At some core level, I don't think as an electrician or as an HVAC technician that I'm worth that much. And that's sad. I have 4 kids at home. 2 boys, 2 girls. My boys are 14 and 13. 14-year-old is academic athlete. That's just who he is. Cool. He's 5'11", size 13 feet. 14 years old. Stand toe-to-toe with most of the men in the room here right now. So running back, plays football, scores straight A's at school. It's just who he is. My second son is 13. Michael is not academic. He's not athletic. He's mechanical. That's the kid when we're going camping. I toss him the keys to my F-350. He fires up the diesel, backs up to the trailer, hooks it up, puts the sway bars on, puts everything is hooked up perfectly. 0 supervision. I showed him once. He just gets it. I pick up a wrench, a hammer, a screwdriver to do anything in the house without him being present, and he's mad at it. He wants to learn how to do that stuff. He's good at it. He's really good at it. And he's the life of the party. The kid's a boss out there. He's just, everyone's laughing at him, laughing with him. He's just that kid. Perfect combination to be a technician in a customer's home. He's a people person who knows how to fix stuff. You find a better person than that? So I have a vested interest in this because I know dang well that Michael is worth $385 an hour in front of the customers that he's going to face. And if by then it's $500 an hour, then it's $500 an hour. Because this is just a number. This is not a reflection of my value as a human being. And this is the question, are you worth it? Are you, and you can't answer that question out loud to me, don't do that now, but this is the question I want you boiling around in the back of your head. Is the reason why you're resistant to your own prices and creating those objections in your customers, because they're just reflecting back to you what you actually believe, is the reason you're doing that is because at some core level, you just don't believe that you're worth it. And why? Don't ask me to answer that out loud. Our job, those of us who are still in this industry, every day, is to turn this around. To be the leaders, to be the frontline men who stand in the face of competitors who are still charging $75. They exist. My cousin started up an electrical company in my hometown.